Hi everyone, this is Garrison for Iron Kingdoms at War, and I'm here to bring you the painted up Rural Homestead that I worked on recently, that we did in a video tutorial. And just wanted to walk you through a little bit of how I painted this up. Rather than have you watch me paint it, I think it'd be sufficient for me just to talk you through how I went about it. So anyway, from where we left off constructing this thing, what I decided to do first was to paint up the stone walls. Now I will say that the masking tape brick for the staggered stone was a new method for me, and you know, I love this piece. I'm really happy with how it came out in general. The stone wall looks pretty good, but I've done the staggered stone better before, and I just wanted to branch out and experiment, try something I'd read about before, and honestly I like my old-fashioned way of doing it better. Usually I do these with pieces of cardboard brick glued onto the foam core. And the highlighting effect I like a little better. I had to kind of manually go in and highlight these stones for them to show up at all, because it's such a shallow extrusion with the masking tape. In the end, hey, it's passable, it works. It's just, you know, I think that the cardboard bricks would make it look even better. That being said, I love the piece. I'm very happy with how it came out. Anyway, with the wall, I started with a medium to dark gray base coat. Then I went with a light gray and then a white and a light gray mix on those bricks to make them pop a little bit. On the wood parts, I did a dark brown followed by a medium brown highlight, dry brushing across the wood grain, and finally finished up with a bit of tan dry brushing as well. So hopefully you can see the shutter and also the door where I did that. The metal effects were done using a Tester's gunmetal gray highlighted by a little pig iron. Alright, so for that effect. Same thing with the chimney smokestacks, which I'm probably going to do a rust weathering on using Tamiya rust effects down the line. Alright, the roof and the shingles were done using kind of a rusty red. It's a craft paint by Folk Art. Red clay, appropriately, alright, is the name of the color. It's a deep red with a little tint of brown to it, and then I add a little white to that to give a little pinkish highlight, and dry brush that over the edges of the shingles just to give a little differentiation. So hopefully you can see where I did that, okay, on the edges of the shingles. As far as the groundwork was pretty straightforward. What I did was I painted the whole thing dark brown, and then I gave it a medium brown dry brushing highlight to bring out the dirt texture. Let me get a little close up on there to bring up the dirt texture, all right, in these barren areas. And then I also gave that a tan dry brush in the end. As far as the flocking goes with the static grass, I wanted an irregular pattern. I wanted it to be mostly covered by the grass, but I did want some of these barren spots to show up. And so as you can see around the piece, I've left some areas of just the ground cover, just the dirt, and I've flocked the rest of this with static grass, and I really do like the effect. On the stone kind of escarpment, or the rocky escarpment on the edges, the two edges of this piece, I start with a dark gray and then a medium gray and then a light gray, followed by a little bit of white highlighting to make those ridges show up. A couple of other little effects I thought I'd mention before signing off here. One is used a makeup brush for basically some of these little details, like the field grass, which you could also of course use a field grass for, right? Some bits like that. Alright, and so here's another example over here. Alright, and then also I added some vines to this thing, alright, using some Hecky leaf scatter. Alright, so you can see that there's a vine growing in there. I've got a vine growing in the corner of the house over here, up the side of the house, etc., etc. So that is the finished product. I really like it. You know, it's more of a wargaming piece than a scenic piece, because it has this very squared off look to it. It's a very functional piece of wargame terrain though, and I like the way it came out. You know, I really intend for this to be a war machine setting piece. That being said, you know, it's not really steampunky. So you really could use it in a variety of games, but of course War Machine's my game of choice, so that's how it's going to be used around here. So anyway, that's my Rural Homestead, and I'm Garrison for Iron Kingdoms at War, signing off, and I'm going to tell you, Happy wargaming, everybody, and stay tuned for a few stills of this project.